Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this very exciting episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender. So, Jared, oh, how about you do the first pun?
Yeah, really, when I was watching this show, I kept imagining the master going around saying, "Have you seen this boy?"
So, this is a very great episode called Sokka's Master. A rare Sokka-focused episode, and honestly, this is actually probably one of my personal favorite episodes of the series because it really goes to show just how important Sokka is to the gang and whatnot. Because like some people argue that Sokka is actually the leader of Team Avatar, and this episode proves it. This episode really showcases Sokka's worth, and it has a like and so basically like everyone in everyone in the gangs has like a master, except Sokka. So Sokka finally gets his master, and can I like it really starts with like a really great opening scene where they're watching a meteor shower, and then a space rock comes from the moon. Maybe UA sent it, but we'll get onto that in a second. And so they're trying to put out a fire. And I really love this opening scene because it really does showcase the thesis of this episode, where like all these other people can do all this stuff, and Sokka, he feels kind of useless. And so like they have some extra time, um and so like they learn about the
So in a
sword.
way, Sokka is a Ronin.
Fluff off Bard.
I'm just saying because hey, he trains to be a swordsman, and he's a swordsman without a master.
He now has a master, so he's not a Ronin anymore.
No, I mean previous in the episode he did previous.
Oh dear God. I did give you permission to pun, and I'm regretting it so much right now.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, and so he goes to train with like Master Piando, and he has like this great little thing. But before I get on that, we start to get some cutaways from Iroh, and things aren't all that they seem. And Jared, when you first saw that first cutaway where Iroh was acting all meek, and then after they shut the door, he just like cut his hair, like he like pushed his hair back and acted a thing. What was your thought? Like, what did you
Called
think?
Called it. I was like, okay, he's acting, because it would be really crappy writing if all of a sudden they just out of nowhere say, oh, he went crazy in prison, which I'm sure that could happen, but it would be kind of like, wait a second, the previous episode he was fine, now he's not fine. How does this line up? So then I thought, okay, Iroh's smart. So so it's just strategically, and throughout this entire episode, 100% he backed me up on this. So I was like, okay, he's acting so they don't like suspect him. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, and we'll get to this as these things progress, but like, yeah, this really shows like what Iroh has been up to. And so he goes to meet Piandao, who. How did you feel when you first heard his voice?
Yeah, I felt like I felt like I don't want to hear him on the phone when I'm supposed to be talking to my parents.
Oh, remember that Snyder meme I made with that?
Yes, that's a good one. I got an Avatar one if you want to hear it.
All right.
You're on the phone. Hey, Mom, how do you pronounce Aang's name? Oh, it's Ong. Your parents are dead.
I need to make that and place the mom's head with M. Night Shyamalan.
Yes, there you go. There you go.
All right. Great memes aside, So yes, Master Piando is voiced by the T-1000 Terminator himself, Robert Patrick, who I gotta say, this guy has had like a long and storied career. Obviously, Terminator 2 is like his highlight, but he is in a ton of stuff, and he is a really great actor. Like he is he is a really great actor. I've seen him in so many stuff, and he always delivers. He's a really good actor, and from all like the stuff I've seen, he seems like a really nice guy, honestly.
Yeah, if you want to see him in a really good like military show, look up The Unit. That was like one of the roles that really helped solidify him. He played a Delta Force commander. He's actually really good in that one.
Jared, have you ever seen a movie, The Marine?
I think so. Yes, it sounds familiar enough. Is that the one with all the WWE people?
That's the one with John Cena. Robert Patrick is actually the villain in that movie.
Oh wow, I gotta check. I gotta check out one because I remember I saw like one of the more recent ones recently, and the funny part is that the minute it says WWE Productions, I'm like, oh no, and it's like all the wrestlers are playing the characters.
Yeah, this is an older one. This is kind of like from like the mid 2000s. Yeah, it's John Cena, and his thing is he's a Marine. So I think you'd yeah, we'll talk about that later. But like yeah, Robert Patrick, he's a really great actor, and he just brings his A game for this. Like you can tell he's having a ball with this role. Like
yeah, he is, and he really he makes the role his own. In other words, that's really what I detected.
Here's what I find really interesting of the introduction scene, where Piando is expecting Sokka to be all arrogant and blah blah blah. But Sokka is basically the epitome of the meek shall inherit the earth. You know, it's because Sokka is like, I want to be better. Sokka is like, I want to learn from the best. I'm not the best. You know, that like.
Well, not only that, at the ending when he basically confesses, he tells him, "I'm not from the Fire Nation."
That's getting ahead of ourselves, but you know,
it still plays onto this conversation about the character, though.
Yeah, so like there's kind of a big reveal that happens with Piando and whatnot. And I think they really hint it very well because like as soon as Sokka says his name, did you see like that slight twitch of a smile from him? It's like he knew it right then and there, like, you know, Sokka. That's a like he said, Sokka, that's an interesting name. He knew right then and there, like that's a water tribe name, you know, because Piando, you know, as we learn later, is a very worldly and cultured man. So like, yeah, he would know Sokka. That is a water tribe name.
And real quick, since we were talking about Robert Patrick, there's one part of trivia I want to bring up. How ironic is it that his character in Terminator turns his arms into swords? There you go.
Jared is just he's
that's the piece of trivia that's here.
I mean, yeah, but it's kind of like in pun territory. So.
No, but they made him a swords master when his character in Terminator is a Terminator who has the liquid metal.
I mean, yes, but it's a stretch. But okay,
this coming from the pun man.
Wow. Trust me, game recognizes game. But like, anyway, but like, okay, now I'm trying to remember where I was. You threw me off my game there a little bit. What was I talking about before you mentioned that?
I believe you were talking about add this out because I'm not sure where we were at that point.
All right. Okay. You know, I had to do some rejiggering, but it's okay. You know, I'm gonna. All right, so like he's a very very worldly man, and he sussed out immediately like Sokka. That's a water tribe name, you know. And like, did you notice like not only like did he say that, but like that slight smile?
Yeah, exactly. It was well animated to the point like, yeah, he knows.
I just gotta say, I do like how supportive the gang was in this instance, where like they recognized Sokka kind of needs a little bit of cheering up. Like normally they're not, I feel like they can be kind of a bit butthole-ish about some of these things, but in this instance they all were on the same track, and I do appreciate that.
Yeah, and plus, again, this whole episode, I think I brought this up last week or the week before. Either way, I brought this up in the past about how how the season does a great job of humanizing the Fire Nation, because again, we see them all. We spent 2 seasons basically making them out to be the Galactic Empire, and now we're seeing it's not as black and white as that.
Yeah, and then sorry, there's kind of something I was going to mention. Like, it would almost be like, you're in an Irish town, and you say your name is Igor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
you would instantly, and I love how even the master said, yeah, you might want to pick a different name if you're going to blend in with the Fire Nation. So I was like, okay, I love that.
Yeah, like that's getting a bit of our head ourselves, but it's all good. And so he does the training, and what I really like about it is Sokka's honestly not that good at it, but he does things kind of in his own way. And I do like that, like, you could tell Piando is frustrated, but at the same time, he appreciates Sokka's, like, creativity and ingenuity. Like, he's like, dang it, kid, you're pissing me off, but at the same time, I respect your game.
It's like Iron Man training Spider-Man, the MCU.
Oh, dear God.
The Iron Terminator. There you go.
No.
You're no fun.
I am not. And so like kind of cutting back to Iroh, and it's like
he's doing upside down push-ups, and I'm like, man, Iroh's getting jacked.
All right, let's just kind of cover Iroh stuff. So it's like he's doing this stuff where it reveals, like, what did you think of like the final reveal of where he takes his thing off and like, God dang, Iroh, you've gotten buff.
I'm like, I'm thinking first, how? And second off, I'm like, man, you really know how to fake being a meat guy.
Well, it's a lot of it's all about perception. Plus, he has like those big bulky robes to hide the muscles. It's like they think of him as weak, and so they tend to overlook things. Like Iroh was actually very smart in what he's doing.
It's kind of like the whole Superman Clark Kent thing.
Oh my God, we need to have
a Super Iroh.
No, there needs to be a UTC episode about Superman's disguise. Like that. That is a
good
actually.
Yep. We definitely have to do that.
All right, okay. But, great ideas for wonderful podcast on another channel aside. I mean, for him, like, you got to realize Iroh has nothing but time, but also like he's doing like push-ups, the sit-ups. Like, I think it's reasonable given the fact that like he's just been alone this whole time, and he's probably haven't been fed too much. If you look at it, it's like an apple at best, maybe rice. Like he's eating a very lean diet, probably.
And somehow he can get that jacked. And I'm like, yeah, it's a children's cartoon to a degree. I get it.
It's a bit unrealistic because to get that jacked, you actually do need to ingest
you need to eat. That's why, and like you see all these when these actors like jack up for a certain role, they have to consume like a lot of calories per day.
Yeah, and not just like any calories, but like good calories. Like that's why you hear like, oh, I ate like a whole turkey every day. I think the more realistic scenario is Iroh being like lean but with muscle. Yeah, he'd have muscle, but it'd be more of a like a lean kind of thing.
Yeah, he wouldn't be like Henry Cavill.
I guess you could say you're not impressed.
Or you could say there could only be one Henry Cavill. That's a reference to a news announcement. So there you go.
I am actually very excited for that movie. So
we'll talk about it on CLD.
Yes. That will happen. But yeah, like it's almost as if Iroh knows a certain day is coming. Foreshadowing.
It's foreshadowing the eclipse, right?
Yes, the day of Black Sun. I almost said the day of Black Hole Sun.
Black holes. Well, that wouldn't work out well for
Day of Black Sun. Won't you come?
I don't get that joke, but okay. But the point is, like with the black hole, I'm like, yeah, that's someone get wiped out.
But yeah, so it's all good. So yeah, that's the Iroh portion, and it's crazy that all that stuff happened in like a day, you know.
Yeah, I'm
And
like, what?
so basically, you have the meteor that came in the early episode, and it's like you get to forge your own sword, and so they're picking out some stuff, and he wants to use the meteorite. Um, and what do you like? There's a fan theory that Yue sent that down because she's a moon goddess, so you could make talk, please.
That makes sense. I mean, because let me put it this way: as far as I know, right now, there's no evidence to like refute that, and plus, it makes a lot of sense that she would do that to like aid the group. Plus, the idea of her saying, "I'll give you a moon sword" is a great. It's really fun. I like that.
Yeah, so meteorites, his space sword and whatnot. And so he forges it, and I gotta say, like watching that thing, like in my head, I was like,
Iron
Iron Man.
Man. There you go. Thank you.
Like I need to take that animated.
That's
theme
got to
and put
be
it over
Nick. You got to make that an edit. You got to make that an edit.
I think I might.
That
And like when
entire
he does,
scene has to be the Iron Man intro.
and like just imagine like when he swipes his brow, I have like a very kind of like transparency Iron Man suit in the background. Like,
Yes, and then what you should do is you see if there was like if this were like if you had access to like studio level equipment, we could probably do is like put Iron Man in the scene, encase Sokka in the actual suit and have him fly off.
oh dear God.
I am Iron Sokka.
But anyway, so yeah, he forges a sword, and I gotta say that sword is dope.
I like the black blade. That is so cool.
And I just love how obvious the gang is making. Like they have like this big rock. How the heck did they get it there? It's like obvious. Like he's like obviously an earthbender had to help him. Because it's pretty obvious. Like I love how like they don't even try and make it obvious. Like P and Dow could easily figure it out. Like there's this big rock. Was Appa in the shot? Like I can't remember if P and Dow saw Appa. I don't think he did.
I don't remember. I don't think so.
But but at the same time, we had this big rock and there's this big trail. It's like obviously they're not strong enough to do that. There's no tools, so obviously an earthbender was helping them.
This is almost as obvious as really Superman makes that he's Clark Kent, and somehow Lois Lane, the greatest reporter of all time, can't figure it out because she's really not the best reporter. But I had to fit that in. I'm sorry, I was waiting for an opening to put that in.
Well, you're welcome, good sir. And so Sokka, reveals that he's from the Water Tribe, and I could just see P and Dow be like, "No crap, Sherlock." Like I just
he'd be like, "Yeah, I know." He'll be like Batman, "I know."
I really do believe, like, I mean, obviously he always knew, and we'll find out later. Like he was always a good guy, but that's kind of getting a bit ahead of ourselves. What did you think of that final fight?
That was a dope sword fight, and I like the Star Wars reference where he goes, "Oh, great, you're using your environment. You have the high ground."
I when I heard that, like, I thought to myself, Anakin should go train with P and Dow.
Yeah, he would learn the power of a high ground. By the way, in the Lego Complete Saga game, the newest one that came out, you know what they did for that scene? They put Obi-Wan on like a ladder, so he even has even more of the high ground.
Oh my God.
It's so hilarious.
One of these days we need to have a discussion about that scene and kind of like break it down, but that's future content right there. This isn't really a fight, as more of like a final test to see like, okay, just how ingenuity and whatnot. Because like at first you think, oh, he's mad at him, but then like what the stuff he says, also just I really like the fight because like the varied environments, the bamboo, because P and Dow could wreck him like easily.
Yeah, but even during the fight, he's going, "Yes, that's good. Use your environment. Turn your environment into a weapon."
Yeah, and then like you had that and then like towards the end, like I'm trying to like delay it because I'm trying to um all right, talk for a second.
Well, yeah, and plus, again, the animation on this fight scene was really good. It's fluid. It honestly felt like I was watching a live action movie fight scene, so I really enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
and then like towards the end, Sokka was like,
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
Yes, thank you.
I'm sorry, like I had to. That is a perfect drop.
Yes,
That is perfect.
I love that. And then, so the fight ends, but for first of all, I love where he's blinded, right? So Sokka's trying to like sneak around, and he just steps on a twig. It's like the most cartoon thing ever, but it's so funny.
Yeah, it's like somehow in a field of bamboo, there's like this random just stick that's just like it's a little bit too convenient, but who cares, really?
It's fun.
Um,
It's fun. And then so the fight ends, and he goes, "Yeah, I always knew you were a water tribe because you didn't try." I love how he even gives him a suggestion. Choose a better Fire Nation name. Lee. There's thousands of Lees here.
and the best stuff is like I'm a little bit too old to be fighting the Avatar. Like that is both the smartest thing anyone has ever said. It's like I think it's like probably simple deduction because like like for one thing, he's kind of like we find out like there's this like organization. Like this is also an
Like
episode
Hydra.
where like well they're good. They're good organization.
Oh, okay. Good height. So Shield.
Yeah, they're like a good secret organization. We're kind of learning, like we've had since before of like what the Light Lotus is. Like it's basically imagine if the Illuminati were good, basically.
So someone from the White Lotus shows up and goes, "Hi, Aang. I'd like to talk to you about the Avatar Initiative."
This the rest of this episode.
Hey, you set me up for that really well. So
I did. But like it's probably really simple deduction because he knows the Avatar is like traveling with Water Tribe members and like an Earthbender. You know, he has that information, and like he sees this guy who's Water Tribe, and then some people show up, and one of them is wearing a Fire Nation belt on their head. You know, like he's Fire Nation. He knows that belongs on your belt. Why is he wearing it over his head? He's obviously covering something. And it's like, it was pretty easy to do. It's like, hey, that kid's the Avatar. You know, like for anyone who knows the information, it's easy to deduce. And
then I loved, and then this is what I wanted to bring up earlier. I liked how when they asked him, if you knew, why didn't you say anything? And he goes, because he basically said, because the knowledge of swords does not belong to one nation. It's supposed to be shared. Not one person has them. Basically, he says, because you came to me asking for a knowledge that everyone should basically have in a way. So I'm like, again, they're humanizing it because if we're going by seasons 1 and 2's logic, yeah, Swordsman Master should have murdered all of them.
Yeah, like he could like legitimately hold his own against all of them. You know, maybe not defeat at once. He could hold his own. I'm not saying he could defeat him, but he could hold his own. Probably he could like, and as we'll see in towards the end of the series, Piando is actually pretty good. You know, Piando will return. I'm just going to say that. Jared, could you read off some references for us, please?
You mean some trivia?
Yes, please.
Well, when Toph is playing with the meteorite at the end of the episode, one of the shapes she forms is a splat. This is a reference to Taladia's Spider-Man playthrough, or this is a reference to the
Bravo!
Thank you. This is a reference to the Nickelodeon episode, the time of the episode's airing.
Yep, you know, because like that was kind of the thing of Nickelodeon. Yeah, like
can I explain really the Taladia reference we just made?
You do that. I'm gonna go grab something.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Taladia is another friend that Nick and I stream with. He's a co-host of my channel. So we were both basically on a panel with him, and he was playing Spider-Man 2, reacting to it. So
The hell?
He's swinging in. Sorry, my mic had issues. So he's swinging in, and he forgets to shoot the web again. He just splats on the ground.
You mean like a...
Yeah, so we call it the pancake incident because he formed a pancake.
Yes, and so now we tease him with pancakes.
I
literally grabbed this from my pantry just to make this joke.
Yeah, I know. That's what the splat is a reference to. And the armor that Aang wears in the weapon shop is inspired by an early toy design of Aang with an armored suit. Additionally, the left gauntlet of the armor is similar to the right gauntlet design of the Soul Calibur character Nightmare.
Nice.
And the White Lotus appears a number of times in Piandao's castle, as do designs inspired by the lion turtle. Which again, I'm like, every time they reference these freaking animal combinations, I'm like, of course, a lion turtle.
So, Jared, what rating would you give this episode?
10 out of 10. This is awesome. I mean, because this also gave me like Last Samurai vibes, and like this dude is trained in a certain way of war. I like sword fighting things at all, and I also like having Terminator show up in Avatar. So that's just.
I give this a 9.7. I really want to give this a 10, but like I don't like handing out 10s. And the sixth thing was a bit of a so I'll give it a 9.7.
All right, you hater.
Whatever. So next up we have so tune in for next week when we get to the very pivotal episode, The Beach. Yes, people, we are having our obligatory beach episode. We will have people in swimsuits.
It's almost like if they would, Nick, if they were to do this nowadays, Team Avatar would be going to a prom, because apparently all these writers always have to have a prom thing.
Oh, please. Yeah. So it's a really good episode. It really shades lights on the character, and it's going to be great. I love it. And you're going to see sides of Azula that you you will be shocked. Mm-hmm. This episode actually humanizes Azula to a degree. The beach, I'll say. So this has been Nick from the Phoenix Press. And remember, I can only show you the door. You're the ones to walk through it.